Good morning, everybody. Thank you for stopping in. Today we're going to be installing some backup lights, the flush mounts on this truck. Started kind of making the harness, but I'll go over it and show you what I'm doing. Here are the flush mounts. I have them on my black truck. So I'm going to get the truck pulled into the garage. We'll start measuring. I'll show you what you need to do. We'll get to hooking everything up, and yeah. The very first thing we're going to do is measure the back side of this, what actually needs to be cut out. I already measured it, but we're going to get a piece of cardboard and make a template so that we can trace it onto the bumper and then start cutting. And then fit it, make sure it fits good. Then we'll use this and trace it onto the bumper. Now when picking a spot on the bumper, this is really important that you check the back side. I lucked out on my truck and put it in the right spot in the black one. So before you start cutting, look on the back side and see where your bracket is. And make sure you miss it. So right here looks like a good spot. So then you might have to trim some of my plastic if it's too far down. Let's see. Yeah, I might have to trim a little bit because I put it right there. It's going to be where it rolls. It's also important that you measure like 3 times. That way you don't make them uneven on the wrong spot. Go off a landmark of some sort, like the ridges on top up here. Don't just eyeball it. Just measure both sides. That way you don't have to cut once, and it looks nice and clean when you're done. One side is done. I was able to cover up the old airbag hole on that side. I had to cut the trim a little bit, but it fits pretty damn good. And we'll get to the other side, and then we can get to the wiring. Okay, so we got our mess all cleaned up. We got both of them installed. They look pretty darn good. So now we're going to go over the wiring part of it. This is, the more hands-on part of it. Installing the lights, cutting, whatnot. This is easy, just kind of matter of running the wires. I'm going to join these together, like I said in an older video, which if you haven't subscribed, you don't know. I put Deutsch plugs on the ends of these, which are these. We need a Y, but they're too far apart, so I just have to cut them and extend them. But luckily I have some heat shrink, so we'll make it all weatherproof and whatnot. So I'm going to do that real quick. Get them hooked to just one plug, and then we'll start doing our relay and our switch. Now that we have the Y made up, let's get in our truck. So we'll go ahead and connect both lights together to one set, see where it ends, and then we'll start running the wires back to the cab. I have gotten the wires to about right here-ish. So now we're going to jump inside the cab. We're going to hook the switch up first. I'm doing it on this. You can put it anywhere you want. I like to put on something that's small that you replace in case you end up not liking where you put it. It's not a huge deal just to get this piece from a junkyard and you don't have a hole in your dash. So pick somewhere that works for you, but this is what I'm going to do. This is the switch we're going with, just a rocker style switch. Has an LED on it, so there's 3 prongs. You can see the top one is earth, middle one is load, and bottom one is supply. So this comes from the battery. This goes to the relay, which I'll show you that in a minute. And then black just goes to ground. You just ground this out somewhere inside the chassis. And it's not for the relay. The ground for the switch is so that the LED will turn on. Here's the ground. Took all the gauges out and everything. You can see that. So ground right in there. I can see it, but you just need, even if there was a screw here, that'd work too. Just something on some steel. We put it back together, run it together with these wires, start hooking everything up. Here's all the wires ran. I marked the supply, and then the accessory is the other one. So when you run them through, just keep track. We're using multimeter. And you know, just touch the ends to see if you have a current. So that's to the accessory. That's the supply from the battery. So this will go to the battery, and this will hook into one of the pins on the, gosh darn it, on the relay. So I had an extra spot on my harness for another relay, so I stuck it there. It is all wired up, ready to go. I'm just going to ground it right here with the harness. I know it looks like an absolute mess right now, but don't worry. I'll get it mounted up to the wall and I'll show you where all these wires go. Here, that is a little bit better. Everything ran together. So here's our fuse. This is the main power that goes to the lights. I'll show you a diagram of how this relay works. The main power goes in, it's broken, and then as if the wire was continuing, you run it back to the lights. The switch goes to the accessory, and then when you click the switch, it completes the circuit and then sends power to the lights. So we got everything hooked up here. Right now I'm just running wires underneath. I'll show you what I'm doing. This truck's a little more rusty than mine, but I pulled this guy up. It's got these little clips. Run it inside the frame rail, keep it out of the way of everything. I know a lot of trucks will be different, but inside the frame rail is a good bet. So we're going to find a place to ground out the lights. You really don't need to run the ground all the way to the front. You can just ground it out somewhere, you know, back by the plug, I suppose. So I'm gonna look for a place to ground it, and then we just gotta hook our power up and see if they work. Here's the diagram I use. It's pretty straightforward. Main 12 volt goes to 30. Whatever you're running comes off at 87. There's 5 pins. There's 87A, I believe. There's a couple different things you can do, but we're only using a 4 pin, so it doesn't matter. 86 is from our switch. 85 is earth. So we've got everything hooked up. The lights are grounded right here. Power comes from the relay, battery to relay. There's power to the switch, switch to the relay. So when you click the switch, it completes the circuit, sends power to the lights. So let's try it out. Not bad for some cheap eBay backup lights. Can't wait to see how they look at night. Not bad, not bad at all. So we got our switch right here. Obnoxious blue. The blue seems to be so much brighter than the green. Anyway, yeah, so that way you know they're on. Cool. And just to recap, so we're using this relay only. The relay itself is grounded, like I showed you on that printout. Both, so we have fuse power. This is the one that's actually holding the load. The switch isn't actually holding a load, so you don't really need to fuse it. This guy is holding a load, yeah. So with the load, so main power from the battery, as well as to the switch, where it wires off into the cab, and basically it goes in and back, right back out. So these 2 wires go up to the relays, accessory, and supply, and then you have 1 wire, this one, go back to the lights. So all in all, this really didn't cost very much. These lights, like I said, I got off eBay. They were only, I think, 18 bucks. Be anxious to see how they last. And the ones on my truck, some company was selling them, but they're the same as all the other ones on eBay. So I'm not going to even say the company. But they were getting a little bit of condensation behind them. But you know, whenever I want to get a new bumper for the back of that truck, so when I do, I'll redo it. But for these, kind of anxious to see how they hold up. And the other ones turn on still, it's just they don't look great. So we'll keep an eye on these for sure. Fix that rat's nest of the wiring that was going on under there. Gotta help the lights to work. The truck's really coming along. Anyway, yeah, that's how you hook those up. Thank you for stopping in. I do appreciate it. Check me out on Instagram. It's Endless Wishlist 6.0. We got a lot of cool stuff we do there. We do giveaways, we do Q&As, and this truck's going to be coming up for sale this year sometime, probably this summer. Want to get it registered. It's not registered yet. I know I've driven down the block and whatnot, but that was in Mexico. But anyway, if we want to, make it run good, make sure it runs good, because I've only driven it for like 5 minutes. So we want to run it on the freeway. I want to put some electric fans on it, and then kind of just clean it up, get new tires. Not new tires, but like newer than these ones. These ones are all cracked and rotted. Yes, follow along. Thank you again, and I will see you guys next time.